We're back. Norman Woodstock Spalding, Bare Bones Broadcasting. Sunday evening. Sitting around with humanity like Bishop Fulton J. Sheen. I am when I was a kid, I watched Fulton J. Sheen for a few minutes. Enough to realize, man, that looks pretty cool. Flowing out in those robes. So I'm the bare bones of that example, stimulating me. How many of you folks think there's such a thing as irony? According to this Gospels, one of the advisors of this Jesus was to let irony take care of things that had a mind of its own. And that when people were abusing you, feed them more rope. Turn the other cheek. Make it convenient. Another expression he said, let's see. The book that's like, love your enemies and so on. I'll tell you why. There's a remark in there that this irony sends the rain on the just as well as the unjust. And there's also some remarks that when you mock that and overplay your hand and take advantage of people who are not as fortunate as you, irony has a way of getting you for making it look bad. It doesn't like a reputation of that. Irony has more respect for mutual with this planet than it's known to have. Kind of like the police. They keep this reputation of brutal and inconvenient, or you'd be surprised sometimes how tender-hearted police officers are. Long before and adjacent to court. Want to bet? They provoke a lot of justice doing that. Kind of like irony. It has a way of stepping up to the plate in human wit more than you think. All kinds of things. Basically, you're guilty of sin and they let you go. Because you're not up to trouble. You're not a felon. You broke the rules. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you broke the rules. You're guilty of that. Well, you're not guilty of being a dismutual human being or somebody that really causes trouble in society. You're not a threat. You're not a felon. You're not any of those things. Now get out of here and go home and live up. Lots of time. All through time, immortal. I think, you know how many times they went out to arrest this Jesus and he was never arrested? And they came back and they said, why didn't you arrest him? And actually, in most cases, it was the ordinance and he wasn't in violation of the ordinance anyway, and he knew the ordinance better than anybody went out to arrest him. The staff that was sent out to arrest Christ only had the ability to arrest for ordinance violation. That's all the ability they had. The Romans wouldn't let them have any more than that. So, that's the only thing they could have even arrested him for in the first night in the garden was an ordinance violation that Peter could have easily got him out of that one, just admitted him and know him, because he had that clout in the society at the time. Christ is the one, or Peter's the one that got him basically busted, not Judas for selling him out for 30 pieces or anything. That's all a misunderstanding in how the system works and the way the story is told. That ain't how the system works. You do not understand how the system works, and the way you understand that story, you misunderstand the whole episode. That is for sure. Do you want to bet? It was not a crucifying offense, nor was anything the man ever did a crucifying offense, as Pilate reminded them of that. And Rome just had more of a respect for what you call justice than you think, and court and things like that than you think. Wanna bet. Rome wasn't NATO. You think Rome was NATO? You're wrong. Rome was above the United Nations. Wanna bet? What would you call it? The discernment of the Roman top echelon all the way down through. And by God, I'll tell you something right now. If you took the discernment of the top Roman echelon and below it made it look like a fool, God have pity on your head. Really, because the lions would be eating it. Let's keep that in mind. If you were disgracing by being a very reckless to mutual human being in authority, and had the authority of the Roman top echelon, God have pity on you. We're allowed to do that in Rome. I'll affirm you that one. Want to bet? So to think that Pilate just walked around Jerusalem recklessly, hilder-skelter, no, he didn't. He walked around on eggs like anybody did in his position. Big time. Want to bet? That's how Rome worked. Yay, Rome. I'd like to still see that. What would you think happened to the Secret Service in a Roman situation if the top guy would have been assassinated? What would happen to the Roman Secret Service? When Caesar was assassinated, do you think the Secret Service got it? Or because it was his brother, they were excused? I'd have cut their heads off right then. I don't care who stabbed him or how they did it. Secret Service is responsible. Wham! What do you think? That's how you handle things like that. Well, it's just an air of respect for the system you stand for. Don't you think? It's not a matter of failure. It's a matter of example. Like our prison system. Deterrent. Don't you think? Mascots. Roman Woodstock Spalding, mascot of the ship, is the bare bones, broadcasting, and the skeleton of thinking. United States citizen, wanting none of the above on the ballots and make them all run against the word no. It's like my mother the night I got here. And I don't know how my dad got through that one at all. I'll be back.